Hey guys, so in this video I want to discuss some of the new settings added in Chapter 2, as well as some tips to help improve your FPS. I'm not sure about you guys, but my in-game frames and performance has been at an all-time low in the new season. Every few seconds I get a big stutter or hitch, and everything I do feels about a half second delayed. Luckily for you guys though, I have found a few helpful workarounds to make the game run better. I'm gonna start by talking about the new graphics settings, then I'll give my thoughts on the confirm edit on release option and whether you should use it, and finally, finish with the new 3D audio. Feel free to skip ahead to whatever you please, but the tricks I'm about to show will greatly improve your FPS on both console and PC, so don't miss out. Alright, let's get into it. For the first few tricks, head over to your Fortnite graphics settings and go down to the bottom. If you have an option for it, turn on multi-threaded rendering. I've talked about what this does in the past, but the short version is that it uses more cores within your CPU to help your game run better. Not Snuffy, who you guys might remember from a past FPS boost video, he recently did a test with multi-threaded rendering on versus off, and he averaged about 50 more FPS with it on. Be aware though, this is extremely dependent on your processor, so if it makes your FPS worse, just turn it off. After you do that, go and turn your textures quality to epic. Snuffy found this also significantly improves your performance, even though it seems like it wouldn't. I'll leave a link to the Reddit post he made that explains everything and how it works, but it's pretty long and convoluted, so just trust me, put textures to epic and you'll notice a huge difference. Your frames will be better and way more consistent. Next up isn't actually a trick. It's telling you guys that a supposed trick does not actually work. What I'm talking about is everyone saying to change your sound quality from high to low and then back to high. I believe this rumor started on Reddit and then the official Fortnite status account tweeted it out. Unfortunately though, just yesterday, they came out and said it did absolutely nothing and was basically a placebo. So if you've been changing your sound quality around and have it on low, it does not affect your frames and you can put it back to high. The final graphics related setting involves going into your game files and changing some of the hidden options around. Start by pressing R and your Windows key. Then, when the run command pops up, put in %localappdata%. Press OK and it should bring up your local files. You'll then want to go down and click on Fortnite game, saved, config, Windows client, and then your game user settings. Before we edit it, right click and go down to properties. Make sure it's not on read only, so just uncheck the box and hit apply. Now we can go in and change the 3 secret settings. The first is called display gamma and mine is all the way down here. Before chapter 2, this was at 1.0, and as you can see, it's now at 2.2. This is why the game may look very harsh, and all the colors are way too overtoned. So just change that back to 1.0 with 6 zeros. The next thing you want to look for is called show grass, and you want to change it from true to false. What this does is it makes the grass look less detailed, and it will give you a slight FPS boost. The last one you're going to change is down towards the bottom, and it's called SG Foliage Quality. Take it from 3 and put in 0 instead. To finish, just save the file and turn your game files back to read only. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Confirm edit on release. My opinion is to turn it on as soon as possible. Why? Well, let's dive in. So what this option does is it makes your edits go through right after you let go of your left click or your right bumper on controller. You can see on my keyboard and mouse cam, the moment I let go of the tile I'm selecting, the entire edit is executed. What we're all used to is pressing your edit key to begin the edit, selecting the tiles, and then pressing your edit key again for it to go through. Edit on release just skips that last step of having to hit your edit key again. Okay, but is it actually better than the normal way? Yes it is. Right off the bat, it's one less input, which immediately makes it faster and better. that extra time it takes to hit your edit key a second time is gone. On top of that, it's also more optimal because your finger does not need to do that extra action. Why would you ever want to do something in 3 steps that could just be done in 2? Furthermore, because you only need to press your edit key once, your edit finger is now free to press another button as you finish the edit. This is huge for people like me who edit with their index finger, as well as people who edit with their ring finger. Whenever I now go to finish an edit, my index finger does not have to press E again, meaning it can press D to strafe or F to build a floor. That's insanely helpful for box fighting, tunneling, and just overall gameplay. Let's say I steal my opponent's wall and go for an edit shot. I can now freely strafe and hit D while completing my edit, because all I have to do is let go of my left click, which is on my other hand, for it to go through. Before this, I had to click E twice, so my index finger physically could not press D at the same time as I pressed E. Therefore, I could never strafe right while editing. This setting is even more useful when you have builds on the same finger as your editing finger. For the sake of this example, I put my ramp on F. Anyways, if I go for the Mongrel Classic and finish off the wall edit by pressing E with my index, then placing a ramp by pressing F with my index, that's 10 times slower than using release to edit. With it on, my index finger can now move to F and place a ramp as the edit's completing, because again, I don't have to press E a second time to confirm it. Last example is tunneling with my normal binds. Usually I have to edit with E, then build floors with F, which means I can never strafe right as I tunnel. I'm forced to stay to the left of the rat in order to keep moving forward. But look at what I can do with release to edit. My index finger is freed up earlier, so I can hit D to move right, and then I can hit F to build a floor and tunnel with more movement and control. I straight up couldn't do that before, even if I tried. That's why edit on release is so damn good. However, I will admit there are some downsides. The big ones are that I don't think it's faster than double edit keybinds. They are very close in terms of speed, but pressing a separate second edit keybind is faster than taking your finger off left click. The other one is that you can't reset and switch your edit before you actually go through with it, like say during a box fight. With edit on release, you're already holding down left click, so you can't reselect anything and are forced to let go of the edit. This isn't really too common of a situation, but it's still a drawback. One thing I did want to mention was that people think there's a delay, when in reality, there's no delay at all. I also thought there was a delay initially because I wasn't used to how it worked. After a day or two though, all of my double and triple edits are way faster and smoother than before. I'm only pressing my edit key 2 or 3 times, and not 4 or 6 times. All the confusion around it is because people seem to forget the edit is executed when you let go of your left click, and not letting go of your edit key. Altogether though, I really do believe edit on release will be meta. It's the same as optimal keybinds in that it gives you more and better overall control of your movement. Sure, some cracked out creative god with 2 edit keybinds will edit a tiny bit faster, but they won't have as much freedom or control of their movement as I do. Plus, if you're an old man like me, it's a lot easier than spamming my edit key like a madman. All jokes aside, I can guarantee you pros on both keyboard and mouse and controller will be switching to this. The god himself, Mongrel, already has, and his editing looks just as ridiculous and insane as before. Keep in mind, that's with less than a week of practice. So if you want to get a head start on everyone else, and more importantly, make your editing more optimized, enable confirm edit on release. It will take some time to get used to, that's a given, because you gotta relearn all the muscle memory. But in 2 weeks from now, when your edits and movement are cracked, you'll come back and thank me. The last major setting I want to discuss is 3D audio. This can be found in your Fortnite sound settings under the sound quality option. When it's on, it's supposed to give you better spatialization of tactically important sounds. That means you'll have a better sense of sounds above you, below you, and behind you. And here's what it sounds like. When I used it myself, it was actually decent. I could locate opponents and chests a lot easier than before. The thing is, it does depend a lot on what headset you have. A lot of people who tried it hated it because it sounded like crap to them and it gave them a headache. Those people were most likely using cheaper gaming headsets with virtual sound. As it says in the description of 3D audio, it's recommended only for stereo headsets. So definitely do try it out, but unless you have a decent stereo headset, it might not sound too good. Overall, those are the main new settings from Chapter 2, as well as some new tips and tricks to help boost your FPS. If this video helped you out, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on post notifications. Shout out to each and every one of you boys using code Jarian. Keep letting me know if you use my code because I want to shout out each and every one of you. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.